Okay, last time we discussed about federalism, the main features of the federalism, the two type of government, dual government system. Then we came to next chapter at that time. Actually, it was the sustainable development. That means how development occurs or what is the process of the development. So today we are heading toward actually the very important topic called as our provinces. Okay, our provinces is linked with the first lesson, federalism. Okay, under the system of federalism, Nepal has been set up into 7 states. You all know 7 states having 7 government, and one is central government. You all know, known as the federal government. So altogether we have how many government right now? Right now we have 8 government. Okay, so we are going to understand actually one by one the 7 provinces, their basic, features, important aspects of those 7 states. And let me again remind you before heading toward the screen share option. Those 7 states have been demarcated by the Constitution of Nepal according to two major aspects, okay, major foundation. The first one is the identity of people, that is the people's identity. Maybe it is culture, language, history, okay. And the next one is the capacity. Capacity refers to the economic uh, viability or economic strength. Can the state run properly, smoothly, with financial, supports, or financially can it be possible, or like the government can manage the resources properly or not, you know. So this includes resources, land topography, and so on. So under this basis, Nepal has been divided into 7 states. So let me go to the slides. All of you pay attention over these slides, okay? Federal provinces of Nepal. Okay, it is actually lesson 1.3. You can see, and the adjacent picture you can see the map of Nepal here. Province number 1 to province number 7. Now let's over to the first of all the division. Province number 1 marked by the blue color here. Province number 2 known as the Madhya Pradesh, maybe Madhya Pradesh now likely to be yellow color, including the 8 districts in Tarai basis. Province number 3 now known as the Bagmati province, as you can see here. Province number 4 known as the Gandaki province. Province number 5 in Tarai basis, including the Lumbini. Next one is province number 6 or Karnali province, and the last one is Sudur Pasim province, known as province number 7. So let's go to the first one. It is, you can say, the cross-cut map, including all the 7 states. Can you guess which one is which? Like this is province number 1, province number 2 is this, 3, this one, 4, this, yeah, 5, this, 6, Dolpa, this area, and last, Dachula, this area. Okay, let's go to the, first of all, basic background. Actually, the Constitution of Nepal 2072 has the provision of 7 provinces in Nepal. And these provinces have been created in the basis of their geography, resources, and economic efficiency. And in total, I already mentioned 2 categories are there actually. Okay, what are the 2 categories? Let me go to the, wait a minute here. I have one option here. Let me go to the whiteboard option. Uh, Not here. Okay. So there are 2 options actually. One is identity, and next one is the capacity. Okay, geography or culture or language are one part of the identity, like Purvanchal, previous, now known as state number 1. Okay, Sudur Paschim, it is identity. Resources, like province number 2, Madhya province, total resources like the land, trading, industries, business. Now, how federalism in Nepal was executed? You all know the Constitution of Nepal 2072 has the provision of 7 provinces in Nepal based upon the different geographical background or resources or the economic efficiency or strength. However, they may differ in their strength from one to another. And right now we have 7 states. As you can see, province number 1 to province number 7. Okay, like number 4, Gandaki province. Now, province number 3 likely to be Bagmati Pradesh. Province number 6, Karnali Pradesh. And province number 7, Sudur Paschim Pradesh. Okay. So this is province number 1, including Solukhumbu, Songkhla, Taplejung, Pathar, Terathum, Okaldunga, Bhojpur, Khotang, Morang, Jhapa, Ilam, Sunsari, Udaipur. And this person figure is Chief Minister of province number 1, Mr. Sherdan Rai. So let's go through the basic information, some introduction of the province number 1. Province number 1 lies in the easternmost part of Nepal. It consists of 14 districts. Altogether, there are 14 districts. And it is between northern and southern national border of Nepal. Okay. In the north lies some highest Himalayan peaks such as Mount Everest, 8,848 meter, and Kanchenjunga, 8,586 meter. The center has captivating hills, and the south is flat plain. South is Tarai, like the Jhapa. The province borders with India in the south and east and China in the north, Taplejung, bordering with the Tibetan part. This province is drained by Saptakosi, known as Saptakosi, with its 7 tributaries, that is the 7 Sahayak Nadiyar, which are all fed by the Himalayan snow. The Kosi is the largest river in entire Nepal. Okay, and like all rivers, flows southward to join the Ganga in India. So Kosi is one of the major tributaries to the Ganga actually. Ganga ultimately congregate to the, this Bay of Bengal. We can say Harara Ganga, that area. The Kosi has the largest capacity of generating hydroelectricity. The Mechi flows along the eastern border with India, while the Kankai drains the center. Mechi is in the eastern border and Kankai in the western border. Once let's go to the map. As you can see here, this area, this border area, eastern area, it is Mechi river side. And if you come to the western border area, here is one, Kankai river or Kamala river. There are 2 rivers actually, not only one. Naturally, the high north of this province is very cold, not suitable for vegetation and agriculture. Mountainous region like Taplejung, Pathar, the major areas of this area are actually not suitable for the vegetation or agriculture. Pine forest and shrubs grow in warmer areas, especially in the basin or river basin areas. There are extensive grasslands further south. Cool and wet hills in the center are covered in deciduous monsoon forest like Udaipur, yeah, or the basin of the Ukaldunga, or Khotang, Bhojpur, Ilam. The hot Tarai gets enough rain in summer, brought by the monsoon winds from the Bay of Bengal. Sometimes the incessant rain causes great havoc, triggering landslides and floods. Sagarmatha National Park and Kosi Tapu Wildlife Reserve are among the major protected with ecological and economic value. And the first point is about actually its viability. This area, known as the province number 1, previous overall actually the Eastern Development Region, excluding some Tarai districts, have higher chances of actually development. The first one is tourism, because it has a lot of beautiful scenarios, or the areas like the Mount Everest area, known as the Sagarmatha National Park area, or Kanchenjunga and Kanchenjunga National Park area. Similarly, this is very rich in the religious sites, like one of the Char Dham lies in here, and that is known as the, the Baraha Kshetra in Sunsari area. Similarly, it has some problem. The biggest problem is flood and landslides. So we have to mitigate all these kind of problems, and we have to see the possibilities. Then province number 1 can also go forward in the sector of development. Province number 1 has diverse population. Actually, it has very mixed type of population. Population in the mountainous region is influenced by the Tibetan culture, like the Sherpas, Tamang, Lepcha, Rajbangshi, Koche, Meche. Okay. While in the Sherpas are famous porters, mountaineers, and guides. They represent total mountainous region, mountain culture, but highly influenced by the Tibetan cultural pattern. Their living standard is very high as they are nowadays busy in business, which is actually promoted by the Sagarmatha National Park, tourist activities, plus the Kanchenjunga National Park and tourism sector. Rais and Limbus, along with the Brahmins and Kshetris, are bound the hilly region. And the Rais and Limbus, their traditional, the way of life has been drastically changed because many are every year joining to British Army or the Indian regiment. While Brahmin and Kshetris, they also have the typical traditional lifestyle, but in a modern sense. Plus, in village area, they are having a traditional lifestyles. The southern plain is inhabited by people of various Tarai communities, along with the Brahmins and Kshetris. So the population of Tarai is also mixed population. The Rais and Limbus exclusively joined the British and Indian armies. Religious sites such as Baraha Kshetra, Pativara and Halesi Mahadev are popular among visitors. So there is higher chances of the religious tourism in this province number 1. The chief occupation of the people of the southern part is farming. You all know. And this is known as the granary of whole Nepal because Eastern Tarai, especially Eastern Tarai, is known as the granary of Nepal because it has vast fertile area and this area receives the largest volume of rainfall over whole year. Fertile land, sufficient rainfall and irrigation facilities are actually favorable for cultivation of diverse types of food crops and cash crops in this region. Like you all know, food crops, major food crops is rice, cash crops like the jute or tea or coffee. Actually, tea is the major cash crops in this region. Cash crops such as jute, sugarcane, and tobacco are also cultivated in the plain and lower hills, especially in the Tarai basin, Tarai region. Ilam and Zappa are very famous for tea gardens. First tea gardens was actually established in the Ilam, known as Soktim. Cardamom, known as Alaichi, grows well and many hilly and mountainous districts such as Ilam, Pathar, and Terathum. These cash crops have good markets and are highly exported abroad. The best example is cardamom, others like given here, jute, sugarcane, and tobacco. This province has made much progress in industrial sector. As you all know, trade and business is also flourishing. Biratnagar is a famous industrial city in the whole country of Nepal because you all know the first industrial sectors was established in Biratnagar by Juddha Shamsher during the period of Rana rule. It is a place where the first large-scale industries of Nepal started during the Rana period by Juddha Shamsher. They were the Biratnagar Jute Mills 1993 and Sugar Factory 2003 BS. Many types of industries are running in several other places too, such as Itahari, Damak, Inaruwa, Dharan, and so that's about province number 1. Let me feedback section. Now let me have your question, confusion, or any curiosity regarding the province number 1. Rosna, can you tell the major caste group living in the province number 1? Rosna?
Like Brahmins from Tarai and Rais.
Major caste group, you can say typical caste group. Okay, I think there is some issue there. Okay, let me ask here, Ankit. Handsome hero, Ankit.
There are two, sir.
Can you tell about major 2 features of province number 1?
Sir, it is located in
No, I am asking.
mountain.
I am asking Ankit Sangrola, not Ankit Chapan. Okay. First of all, let me ask Ankit Sangrola, then I'll come to Ankit, okay? I'll give chance. Don't worry. Ankit,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me two major features of province number 1?
So the famous temple Patibara is located in province number 1,
Okay.
and the world's second highest peak, Mount Kanchenjunga, is also located there.
Okay, okay. Now let me come to the Ankit. Thank you very much, Ankit Sangrola. Ankit Sepang.
Sir, being the Himalayan region, it is famous for very tourism area,
Okay.
and it has many mountains, which helps the province number 1 to be famous for the mountaineering
Okay.
jobs.
Thank you very much. And now let me come to girls. Prashna Burathurki, are you fine?
Sir,
Can you tell me, can you tell in the class the two major possibilities of development of province number 1? Possibilities.
the first possibility is that there must be proper irrigation facility for growing crops in provision number 1, and the
So
second
you mean
is
there is higher chances of irrigation?
yes. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah.
And then second?
Second is there we can establish lots of industries, and it can be also famous for tourism sector.
Okay, thank you. Now let me come to Girivani. Can you mention any two problems of province number 1? Two issues, problems faced by the people of province number 1. What are the problems? Confused. Like biggest problem is flood. Yeah, Kosi region is, or that eastern, Tarai region is mostly flooded, and the hilly area is highly affected by landslide. Yeah. Okay. If you have any confusion, anyone, you can raise your hand, or any issues, any problem. If not, now let's go to the next one, province number 2. Okay. As you can see here, province number 2. 2 lies especially in Tarai districts from Parsa to Saptari. Saptari, Siraha, Dhanusa, Mahottari, Sarlahi, Rautahad, Bara, and Parsa. Okay, altogether 8 districts, and like to be called as Madhesh province. And this person is called as the Chief Minister of province, Mr. Lal Babu Rawat. Lal Babu Rawat. Now let's look at the brief introduction, major features, issues, possibilities of development of province number 2. The province number 2 stretches out only in Tarai region, standing as the smallest province in Nepal. Though this province has the huge potentiality of agricultural production and large-scale industries, it also holds a greater significance for tourism and fishery. Like tourism in the sense that it is located, or it has, one of the historical region. Now little bit some kind of dispute because of the, you all know, issue of Ram, that is Dhanusa, Janakpur. And it has higher chances of actually potentiality of agricultural production because it has very fertile land and large scale industries, because it has big market and industry sectors. Okay, like you all know, Birganj. Birganj is the center of trade and commerce in this region. However, it has the least possibility of hydroelectricity development. That means there are actually no hydro project, because this is totally in the plain surface of Tarai, and which is not suitable for actually electricity. But there is some kind of problem like the flood. The majority of the population is Madheshi, that is origin of Madhesh, and the major ethnic groups are like Tharu, Dalit, Muslim, and Adab. Okay, major caste groups. And Awadhi culture dominates the region, and Chhath and Eid are celebrated with great pomp and show in this region. So this region, province number 2, is highly influenced with the Awadhi culture known as the culture of the Ram and Krishna. Okay, that the legacy of Ram and Krishna, Awadh. Awadh, the culture originated from the Awadh state. Okay, once it is said there along this region and the UP, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar area, there used to be a great Awadh state. And this region is famous because of the festivals like the Chhath, and the population density is the highest in the province in whole nation. That is 20% of the total population right now. That means total population density overall in Nepal is highest in this province number 2. If you compare the population with its total area, then it is actually very unsuitable. It is smallest province, but it has largest density, means highest density of population. The region is highly significant in terms of trade because the international trade with India is controlled or scrutinized under the Birgun's port, okay, Birgun's entry point, and business and can collect good revenue from custom duty, Pansar, due to its direct link with Indian borders. Birgunj is the main trade transit to the dense forest known as Char Kose Jhadi, lying in the northern part is valuable resource of this province. But actually, if you look at, there are huge pressure of population over the even the forest area known as Char Kose Jhadi. And the next issue in province number 2 is that is the backwardness of people. As the caste group is, if you look at the caste group, most of them are Madhesi origin, most of them are Dalit, Muslims, and society is actually not so much forward. Education-wise, this region is backward. There is higher, social crimes and social issues in this region, and it is because of the population composition, maybe population composition. The one other issue is domestic violence. Another issue is gender. Another issue is caste discrimination. But the good aspect of this region is that there is also higher chances of development because of higher revenue collection, industrial activities, or trading activities, agricultural land, and so on. So that's about province number 2. Now let's move to our province number 3, now likely to be called as Bagmati Pradesh. And it includes Chitwan, Makwanpur, Sinduli, Ramesar, Kavre, Lalitpur, Bhaktapur, Kathmandu, Nuwakot, Dhading, Sindhupalchok, Dolkha, and Rasua. You can count the number of districts here. This person, Mr. Dormani Paudel, he is the Chief Minister of Bagmati Province. Okay, and the major office lies in the Hetauda, means province number 3. The administrative center is in Hetauda. Okay, let's have a brief introduction. Standing at the third smallest province, this province is located between Tibet, China, in the north and province number 2 in the south. This is the most developed province since the federal capital, that is Kathmandu, lies here. It is the most developed from, you can say, ancient time period. The number of industries is 979 and hydroelectricity projects is 38. Means province number 3 has the highest number of hydro project, 38. So this is one of the symbol that our government system is normally centralized system. Many facilities are in province number 3, including Upper Tamakoshi. The major mountain peaks are Mount Ganesh, 7,163 meter, Mount Jugal, Mount Langtang, Mount Gaurisankar, and many other. The Tamakoshi, the Indravati, the Trisuli, the Narayani, and the Kamala and the Bagmati flow through this province. Important river system, whether it is Koshi river system, tributary of Koshi, or whether it is the tributary of Narayani, that is the Gandaki, okay, are from province number 3 or flow from province number 3. And one of the reasons why this region has province number 3 has more hydro projects is that Koshi and Gandaki both actually, travel across this province number 3. People are involved in agriculture, industry, and service. The sites of tourist attractions such as the Kathmandu Valley, that is the 3, including major religious and cultural sites. You all know major sites included by the UNESCO in the World Heritage Sites, including 7, are in Kathmandu Valley. Nagarkot, Nuwakot, Dhulikhel, Chitwan are located in province number 3. The major Nepal-China trade transit Tatopani also lies here. Tatopani, that is the connection between Nepali district area like Sindhupalchok with Tibetan area known as Kodari. The main inhabitants here are Newar, especially in Kathmandu Valley, Sherpa, like in the Rasua, Bode, Brahmin, Kshetri, Dashanami, Dalit, Jirel, Tamang, Magar, Tharu. That means the population composition is as same as province number 1 and okay, let me stop here because time is not sufficient. Let me have your feedback. Okay, let me have your feedback. Any question, confusion, or any curiosities about the province number 1 and 2 and 3? Okay, let me ask here. Srishti Khadka. Where is Srishti? Any questions? Anyone? We have last 1 minute. Okay. Any other students?
Sir,
Sirisa? Yes?
sir, what are the backwardness of province number 3? Bagmati province, ko चाहिँ backwardness haru के हो?
Backwardness, including like even the remote areas, remote villages in the especially mountain area like Rasua, Nuwakot, Thading, even the area like Sindhupalchok, many village areas are not well connected with the transport. And if you know the scenario right now, in the rainy season, there is a higher chances of the flood and landslide, yes or no? And there is a huge problem like migration, that people are migrating toward the Kathmandu Valley, yes or no?